Fellas, ladies, bots, agents, Decepticons, what is going on? My people, my spiritual family out there in the YouTube metaverse, man. What's going on? All right, here we are in my humble abode. We've got our very tit-like light fixture making a cameo appearance, and we're gonna dive into a very important subject. If I can pronounce my words, that would be cool. So all right. This video is going to be short because it has to be, because there's not that much space in my phone right now, and we're having some technical difficulties, and it appears that Apple really just wants me to buy another phone. You know how they do. So I've got several videos actually that I already made that YouTube is failing to upload, and hopefully they make it out there at some point. But hey, what are you gonna do? Just keep trugging along, making more videos. You know, what else can you do? I mean, hey. So without further ado, I don't even remember. I made a video this morning, and I feel like it was a good one, and YouTube won't upload it. Man, but it's all right. It's all right. I know this topic's not the same topic as the one I covered earlier, because I know I haven't covered this topic at all yet, and it's really a big deal. I've definitely been talking a little bit about some of the struggles I've been having along the way, being like 9 months down the road of a semen retention streak, which is, obviously I've never done that before in my life. I never even knew this was a thing until about a year ago. I had no idea. I was under the same sort of mythology, that there was some myth, right, that like, I don't even know where this came from, that was planted into men's minds, that like if you don't come with like at least like once a week or some bullshit like that, you're gonna get prostate cancer or something like that. There's some, you guys, I'm sure you're aware of this myth about it. And this is one of the criticisms that like semen retention channel content creators tend to get sometimes. Like people will be like, oh, you're gonna get prostate cancer, and it's like, okay, Mr. Science guy, like show me the study that says that. Like there is none. There's no studies on this stuff. Like we're it, guys. Like we are the case study in this. Like we are this is an ancient thing. This is not like it's anything new, but it's kind of resurfacing as far as I'm concerned, and it's becoming, I can't say it's popular. It's a very small segment of the population that's even aware of such a practice, let alone practices it. But it's definitely growing. The awareness around this is growing because so many men are just floored by the power of it, because it's real. All there is to it. So, but that's not to say that, it's like a fix all, there. And if if you've been on this path for a little while, you know that by doing something so sort of righteous and holy and pure, and kind of like moving more back towards like innocence that you had as a child, and away from this kind of like hedonistic, perverted, inverted, strange mentality that most of society is in, you're naturally, the crabs in a bucket thing that happens, spiritually and physically, and friends, family, whatever, people that you thought were on your side, you're going to start treating you differently. And then also people that you didn't notice before, you're going to start to notice, and you're going to appreciate things that you didn't appreciate before, and you're not going to like things that you used to like. I mean, it's going to change you, and it's going to change the way people treat you, and a lot of that stuff is going to be fantastic, and a lot of it isn't. And it comes with a lot, right? There's a lot going on here, right? By refraining from using sex as a way to make ourselves feel better, or fulfilled, or satisfied, or make ourselves feel like our lives are worth living, because that's the mentality. And if you really just look around and like listen to people when they talk, I mean, a lot of people, it's like they've made sex such a priority in life that they couldn't fathom, to like, there's this mentality that like certain people have, and I used to be one of these people, where I was like, the concept of celibacy to me was just like insanity. It's like, that's insane. Like, why on earth? Like my logic would be like, well, God gave you sex. Like, why are you not doing it? Like, are you kidding me? Of all the things you could do, why wouldn't you be doing that as much as possible? Like that was kind of the mentality I was in, to be perfectly honest. So it's surreal to have stepped completely out of that to the point where it's like I could go the rest of my life never having sex and be perfectly okay with that. Like I kind of hope I do have sex again, just to be honest. But like I could easily go the rest of my life without that. Like I know that now. I've proven that to myself, and that's very transformative. Just to know that, it puts you in a whole different mentality. But like I said, it gets difficult, and there are tests, there are temptations, and it really what happens is like you're forced into a bit of shadow work, because you don't have, like I said, you don't have this this out, you don't have this like escape route, you don't have this like finger on the dopamine button in your brain, where you can just sort of like trick yourself into feeling like you just accomplished something really important. Because if you think about that, stuff that comes out of you could accomplish. I mean, I'm an accomplishment of the stuff that came out of my dad, right? Like think about the power of that. You should, after having a release, it makes sense that nature designed it that way, that after that happens, you tend to feel like you just ran a marathon, like you just done crushed a serious goal. Like now it's time, now you can finally relax and chill. Like, and a lot of us are just looking for that ability to just relax and chill. We have things that we think we need that are going to take us there, and then we don't realize like it's all band-aids, it's all fake, it's all, you're just escaping yourself. And like, but beneath it all is like you need to face yourself and get to the root of like, well, what am I trying to escape in the first place? Why is this stuff so, why do I constantly have this thing I need to satisfy? Like it's never satisfied. Well, what you discover on retention, if you do it long enough, is that there's no such thing as satisfaction in the world, in the physical world, in the flesh. Like you can't satisfy the flesh. It will never be satisfied. No matter how much sex you have, no matter how much money you make, how much food you eat, you're going to get hungry again. You're going to get horny again. You're going to, no matter how much money you have, you're going to think, well, what if I made more? Like there's just no end, right? And this is a very important discovery along the spiritual path, is like coming to terms with that reality that like I'm never going to experience satisfaction in the physical, fleshly, egotistical, worldly sense. I can only get it supernaturally. I can only get it from a spiritual practice. It's the only way. So we start to really get in touch with that reality on retention, and especially if you're taking it to the next level, like you really should be, and incorporate sobriety into the picture. So you're sure that you're definitely not escaping yourself, that you're doing the work. It's like such a cliche, but it's real. It's like you've gotta face yourself and get to the root of like, well, what is it that gives me this restless need to like reach outside of myself for solutions, and like medicate myself, and like get attached to people, and get attached to like sexual gratification, all these things that we do. Get to the root of it. So in this process, I've started to get a little closer to the root, and things are getting very interesting. I mean, I'm making discoveries here that I maybe wouldn't have expected to make. Certain things are kind of like coming as a surprise to me. Like there's certain tendencies and issues that I still have that I thought I was like well past, that have kind of like resurfaced because of certain events in my life. Like I'd mentioned that there's a female in my life that I'm interested in right now, and that's the first time that's happened since I set out on retention and celibacy. I haven't actually had like an interest in anybody. So now that that's there, it's doing different things to my mind and my thinking process, and I'm finding myself sort of like having this like yearning, which feels almost like a form of weakness that I have since conquered, and now I feel like that's back again. If that makes sense. Although I'm definitely not as weak as I used to be. I'm much stronger and I'm much more conscious and aware of this stuff, and I'm dealing with it in real time, and I'm reflecting and looking at myself and making sure that I'm moving forward in my spiritual journey to the best of my ability, and being very aware of the fact that a woman, and not so much the woman herself, but the way that I relate to the woman, it can be a very slippery slope for me personally, and then that could potentially negatively affect her too, which I don't want to do that either. So I've been kind of struggling with just being in my head about this stuff, and just struggling with like just basic life stuff, like I have multiple jobs right now, and I'm kind of in a situation where I don't necessarily need to be working as much as I'm working. Like I could afford not to, but at the same time, I don't feel right not working, especially on retention. It's like I have to be accomplishing things, but I don't particularly enjoy working for other people. I don't enjoy clocking in. I don't enjoy having to pretend to want to be doing something I really don't want to be doing. Like I do my best that everything in my life is coming from an authentic place. So it's why I do my best to make my living playing music, coaching people, talking about nutrition, and whatever stuff I care about, right? So, but I'm doing more than that. I'm doing some stuff I don't care all that much about right now for work too, and that's bothering me. It feels like a drain on my energy, and it's like socially draining, and it makes me want to just kind of like hibernate and not have a social life. And it's just, I could go on and on, but I don't want this. That's not the point. Then I'll just be complaining, and really, like, I don't actually have anything to complain about. I'm extremely blessed, and finally, I'm going to get to the main point of this video, which is gratitude. And I realized very recently that that's been like the missing puzzle piece in this whole equation for me lately, and that's why I've been sort of feeling more and more like off, whereas I was on this like kind of euphoria of like self-discovery and like self-actualization, and just realizing what I'm capable of, and realizing that I can love myself and that I can accomplish way more than I ever thought I could. And this new level of confidence, just being so thrilled about all of it. And but then it kind of, you level out, you get used to it, and then life kind of becomes life again. And so that's kind of where I've been at. But so I realized, like, the reason why I feel like I've been kind of like losing that zest for life is because I have not been practicing gratitude. Like, it's you can take this for granted. You can be a grateful person, you can be a humble person, a good-natured person, spiritual person, all these things, right? But it's like, what actions are you taking around those things? Because it's like faith without works is dead. It's kind of what I'm getting at here. And so it's like, it's not enough just to like be a spiritual person that, like, oh, I'm grateful, I'm blessed. It's like, gratitude, I think, has to, at certain points, and maybe all the time for us, be part of like a practice. Like, we practice gratitude. So it's like, I've lately, and this has been changing, like, I feel like I'm out of the funk basically that I was in, and really what did it was this intentional practice of gratitude. Like, I really had to just take a look at everything in my life and just be like, wow, actually I have so many things to be grateful for, more than I do to complain about. Like, actually, on paper, like, if I made a list of complaints and like gratitude, the gratitude list is longer. And the gratitude list thing, man, it's so powerful, just to literally just make a list of things you're grateful for, write it down, say it out loud, or even just think it to yourself. And so I've had to, in the morning, I've been doing it in the morning, you guys. And like, when I lay there in bed, and I'm just like, the period of where you want to hit the snooze button. I don't use an alarm, so I don't hit the snooze button. But if I did, I'd be hitting the snooze button. But that half awake, half asleep when you first wake up in the morning, I find that's a really potent time to just kind of run through some gratitude. Because usually what first thing I experience is like, ugh. Especially if it's a work day, it's just like, ugh, here we go again. But then I can immediately flip the script on that and just be like, wait a second. Oh, gratitude. Hey, I work. Like, I can stand. I can walk. I almost died so many times in my life, it's not even funny. But I'm still alive. Not only am I still alive, I'm healthy. And I can articulate about it. I can tell the story as well. My brain still works. Beautiful. Grateful for all of that. I have a roof over my head. I woke up in a bed. My goodness. I've been homeless before, so I certainly appreciate this, but I'll forget to appreciate it. I've got instruments that I can make music with. There was a point in my life I had everything I owned stolen from me. I owned nothing. I didn't have a roof over my head. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So to have any of this stuff, even if it is temporary and they're just things, Very grateful. Very grateful. Very grateful to have people in my life, anybody at all. I have a very small circle and it's getting smaller all the time. But I'm grateful to have anybody at all. So things like that, you know, you just run through it. You just lay there, you run through it. Anytime you're in a serious funk, you just do that. You just run through it, because guaranteed, no matter where you're at any point in your life, there's a bunch you could be grateful for. So I've been hating my job, but at the same time, it's like, what if there were no jobs? You know, like, I'm lucky to even have a place to go, and they're happy to see me. They want me there. There's something else to be grateful for instead of just complaining about it. So, all right, there's my spiel. Didn't run out of space. Let's see if YouTube cooperates. Signing out. Much love.